Hey everybody, welcome back to White Knuckle Racing. Today we are at Ocala Grand Prix for the final round of the winter series. As you can see, absolutely packed event here in Ocala. Today I'm actually running in the senior class, so of 300, senior medium, so 350 pounds. Different from my custom 390. Very, very fun day so far. We're gonna get ready and go to the finals, but watch the video and follow along. All right, team, if you have never ever witnessed a shifter start, it's something that's absolutely amazing. It's pretty much about as close as you get to Formula One, so I figured I should give you guys a little glimpse of what shifter racing is all about. Wow, these guys were absolutely flying, hitting 60, 70 miles an hour going into turn one. Those guys really, really fly. But very quickly, we're going to go ahead and move into my pre-final during race day. It was a very accomplishing weekend or single day event for me. I actually ended up learning a lot about the kart and the setup of the kart itself. I actually ended up on my way home realizing slight mistakes that I made as far as whether when to narrow the front or not to narrow the front. Actually being able to feel and tell the difference between the kart pushing and oversteering. So pretty much just the difference between oversteer and understeer. I'm still very new to this, and I'm still kind of trying to learn some of the terminology. But actually, on my way home, I'm like, okay, now I'm actually starting to understand what the kart was doing in certain turns and things like that, which hopefully for the future is going to help me. As far as the gear, I was on the correct gear. I was very lucky that the guys were there a day before. I pretty much stayed up, and they were able to get me on the gear and get me going. Going into the pre-final, I struggled on the start, as you could see, but just kind of followed through, kind of hung in there, kind of kept going. I got here behind the gentleman in the 24. Him and I had a long battle for most of the race, kind of going back and forth and back and forth. And what it actually does in 206 racing, when you start battling with someone, it allows any sort of gap or anybody coming from behind you to actually catch up. So as you can see here, I try to kind of send it into the turns. Going here into turn 3, I'm trying to get there as much as I can, kind of tap him on the bumper, go wide, go back on the inside of him, just trying to do anything to try to ride out his cage so I can get through. But this driver did an absolutely phenomenal job of not allowing me to get in there. Again, I try into the tree turn, and because we have been battling, it allowed this other gentleman to come and go ahead and just pass me on the tree turn. Knowing that it was the final turn here, I kind of just laid off slightly a little bit, and I said, you know what, we'll go ahead and save it for the final. I think I finished 11th after starting the 13th, but I knew that I was getting better throughout the day. I showed up about a second and a half off the pace. About this point, I was right at about a second, but I knew that the car had more and that I was going to get better. In the final, again, on the bumper of the number 24, I knew right after turn 1 here that there was going to be some sort of pile-up or something just like there was on the first race. So you can actually see here that I purposely lifted and kind of let the field go in front of me because I wanted no business of being part in that accident. And just as I figured it would, you could see it was 5 or 6 karts. Hugo was involved in that. Ruben was involved in that. Jorge was involved in that. And a few other guys. I think Mr. Gransall as well. But again, I kind of lifted. It did allow the leaders to kind of take off without being able to do much, but it did save my race at the end. Now, this gentleman that you see here past me, very, very, very awesome situation. I was obviously not able to get it on camera, but all of a sudden I'm going out of the showcase, and I see somebody trying to give me a fist bump in the middle of the race. And who would you thought it is? This is actually IndyCar driver Oliver Askew. That was racing with us. He did have a ridiculous pace. He did tell me after the race that he was going to get DQ'd because he was underweight, but the guy is an absolutely phenomenal driver. Number 24 and I, again, we were pretty much battling all weekend against each other. This gentleman, he's a younger gentleman, but he is absolutely phenomenal. You can see her in defending very, very well. Not just throwing the kart and blocking. I was trying to be as aggressive again, trying to get in front of him, trying to pass him, do everything I could, but I just could not get the kart to stick pretty much until the final lap here of the race, when I just said, you know what, into the tree turn, he went wide, I'm going to take the inside no matter what, and we're going to just keep going. So Again, guys, it was an absolutely great weekend at the final event at Ocala for this year of 2019. We had an absolutely great time. Thank you for having us. Thank you for following along in 2019, and I hope that 2020 is a much better year and that we keep growing and learning. So don't forget, at the bottom, don't forget to subscribe, hit a like and a thumbs up. And if you want to see more race footage, I'm also going to go ahead and link the page for Jam Racing. Go ahead and give them a follow. And you're actually going to see some of the other views of the accidents and things like that. So thank you so much, guys. Hit a follow and subscribe.